there's a lot of watering here. If you're doing something intuition based, a workshop or visioning, any kind of stuff, this would be a good day for that. Welcome to the Story of Spirit podcast, where practical spirituality meets real life. Hi, I'm your host, She Tells Story. I'm a psychic medium, grief support counselor, professional astrologer, and a human design reader, and of course, a law of attraction master coach. With my unique blend of spiritual and practical tools, I am here to help you align with your soul-led purpose and ignite a life that sets your soul on fire. In this podcast, we are going to explore the principles of energy, astrology, spirituality, and psychology to help you heal your grief and create an aligned life and business from the inside out. Whether you are looking to deepen your intuition, understand your cosmic design, or transform your business, this podcast is for you. Join me each week for insightful discussions, practical tips, and inspiring stories that will guide you on your journey to living your very best life. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at She Tells Story or wherever you listen to this podcast. Let's dive in and start this transformative journey together. Welcome to the Story of Spirit podcast. Welcome to the Astro Forecast for the week of January 6th through to the 12th. We start out this week in a first quarter moon phase in Aries. The fire is there, y'all. We want to initiate, but Mars, is moving backwards still through the zodiac. So, even though we want to initiate, we want to move forward, you might find that the things you move forward with need to be redone or don't quite fit yet. It almost feels like the energy is like mismatched. We want to move forward, but there's no momentum there. So it's okay if it doesn't work out for you this week, and try it out, right? Who might have stopped you from your momentum? Try it for yourself. So on Monday, January 6th, Mars is retrograding through, so moving backwards through the zodiac, slower than the Earth, so mathematically backwards or mathematically in negative momentum to the Earth. So that's why we call it retrograde. It's just going slower than the Earth. So that retrograde motion is moving it back through the zodiac. And on this day, Monday, January 6th, Mars will move from Leo into Cancer. So Leo is a sign of our voice, our fire, our purpose, mission. It is kind of, what did you come here to do? And Cancer is the home and the foundations that give rise to that. So if you don't have those foundations strong, if you don't know who you are, then how do you know what your voice is in the world, right? So this is why Mars is moving through this. Like, see the intelligence of the universe at this time. Like, we are needing everyone in 2025 to be firing on all cylinders in their purpose and mission. And we can't have anyone asleep at the wheel anymore, so to speak. So Mars is helping with that, right? So this Cancer, then Mars moving back into Cancer, it has been retrograde. It's going to be here for 4 months in the sign of Cancer. That is a very long time for Mars to be in a sign. And Mars doesn't really like Cancer because Mars wants to be forward momentum. It wants to be doing things. It likes fire signs. It rules Aries. It does not like water, emotion, sitting in what do I feel like? Mars doesn't want to feel anything. So this is not a place where Mars works well. Okay. So it's going to add a little more spice to the mix. But we were back at this stage back on November 3rd, 2024. Mars was moving to the 29th degree of Cancer. So when we look back to November 3rd, what was happening for you? Now, I'm going to give you a little example of what was happening for me. Is I was in full-on burnout, y'all. And I was feeling like I had too much going on. And so this is now, it's time to see your motivation and your momentum in a different way from what was going on November 3rd. So I can tell you that I'm not going back to work on January 3rd or 6th. I'm actually taking an extra week. I've got 2 clients booked in there just because of my laryngitis reschedules. So this is not going to be a replay of November. I'm not doing that again, right? So even for yourself, thinking about this now, there is a connection here from November 3rd to now. What are you doing differently? What are you motivated differently? What's your why different? Right? Mars is passion, your egoic will to move forward. It rules cars, so it's about this kind of forward thinking, passion, motivation. And this is now a time to kind of shore up your why and moving into your inner foundations and family. Cancer rules the home, rules family, rules mothers, rules divine feminine. So, where are you not taking the cues for your intuition? Where are you taking on identities and roles from your childhood that no longer are valid, in your life? If someone said you can't be this, or who are you to be an authority, or you're always going to be second best, well, now's the time to shore that up, because none of that's true, right? So, motivations take center stage. You may feel drawn to focus on home, family, and nurturing in your inner world. Also, on Monday, we have Mercury square to Neptune. This is like a retrograde. It's not in retrograde. Mars is not in retrograde, or Mercury is not in retrograde. Sorry, Mars is. Mercury square to Neptune is confusion, miscommunications, tech issue, not tech per se, but things that are just slowing down communication. So this is foggy mental atmosphere. Details feel elusive. Communication is misinterpreted. Flights are delayed. Luggage is lost. Imagination runs high though, but clarity will be lacking. This is not a time to figure out details. This is not a time to make big moves in life. This is not a day to make long-term commitments to things, or to move around your portfolio in terms of the stock market and your investments. You will not have a clear head this week. This aspect is in play for the week. So really taking it slow, integrating back into work, not making any big detailed decisions. And if you are having to sign any contracts or travel, really, if you're signing contracts, really reading the fine print, and getting another set of eyes to look over it too, so you don't miss anything. And if you're traveling, take an extra set of patience with you. Take another book, and if you can, don't check your luggage and take carry-on only, is what I'll say. All right. Oh, don't jump to conclusions as well. This could also be a big conclusion jumper, where you're making, you think that you know the story, but you don't. So just keep that open in mind. On Tuesday, January 7th, we have Mercury in conjunct to Mars. This is a mismatch between the energy of our mind and Mars retrograde. So this can be a feeling of frustration that you can't move ahead. Your everything that you're trying to initiate is not moving ahead. Like, again, this is a good week to take an extra week off if you can. And just noticing where miscommunication escalates to conflict. Okay. You don't know all of the story. Really practice active listening this week. Okay. So asking for, did I hear you right? Is this what I heard you say? Could you put that in an email so I have it down so I know what to do, right? If somebody's asking you to do something, ask them to write it down. That might be freaking annoying, but you're like, my astrologer said, maybe you don't want to say that, but you really need to kind of get some backup, or have things kind of written down, and have some receipts, y'all. Have the receipts. Wednesday, January 8th, Mercury enters Capricorn. Thank goodness. Mercury in Capricorn gives some groundedness, long-term planning. We are, heads in the ground, and we're ready to go. Thoughts encouraging pragmatic approach to problem solving. It's a great time now to plan and organize. Not yet, my friends. Give it a couple days, because that square to Neptune is still in play. So we want to just give it a little minute, just give it a little bit. I would say not doing any major planning or any execution on plans, at least, if you have to, next week maybe, but I wouldn't until Mars is out of retrograde, which won't be till March. That's why I started on my programs in March, y'all, because that Aries New Year and Mars being out of retrograde is going to give a different energy than what is presenting now. And then we end off the week on Sunday, January 12th, with a Mars retrograde trine to Neptune. This is a really beautiful energy for brunching, actually. Brunch is my love language. But this is emotional energy with dreamy spiritual influence, connecting with your imagination, creativity, ideals, emotions, connections. There's a lot of watering here. If you're doing something intuition based, a workshop, or visioning, any kind of stuff, this would be a good day for that. So diving into activities like meditation, creative writing, visualizing your dreams, healing, emotional breakthroughs are supported. Avoid escapism though, and relying only on daydreams to make decisions moving forward, really grounding them into practical energy. That Mercury in Capricorn is going to help you with that. So this week, my friends, not a good day, not a good time to be making major decisions and power moves and getting back into it. And as I had predicted, so if you're noticing that energy, for you, great. And if you're noticing what I'm saying here instead, awesome. Really just trusting yourself above all else. The astro weather is here for you to navigate the weather. That's it, right? You get to use these energies. Knowing this is in play, you can just get a little bit more accountability, right? You can just get a little bit more instructions. You can more act into active listening, saying, this is what I heard you say. Is that correct? Before you fly off the handle. Or really think about, what do you know and what don't you know? Or do you know the whole story? Who are you hearing the story from? Is there bias in the story that you're hearing? Really thinking about that this week, because you're not going to get the full story until weeks later. So wishing you the best week ahead. Hopefully you get to take it a little slow. People are going to be in a slow mode. And again, there's tech issues and things like that. Just pack some patience, drink your tea, and meditate. For the love of God, meditate. See you next week. Bye. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Story of Spirit podcast. I hope you have found inspiration, support, and practical insights to help you align with your soul-led purpose and live a life that sets your soul on fire. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to the podcast, leave a review, and share it with a friend. Your support helps us to reach more listeners and continues to provide valuable content. I sincerely appreciate every share, and I know it is how most people find me. It is because caring people like you have shared me with them at the right and perfect time. For more resources, insights, and to connect with our community, please visit us at www.shetellstory.com and follow us on Instagram at shetellstory. Remember, your journey to a more aligned and vibrant life is just the beginning, and I am here to support you every step of the way. Until next time, stay aligned, stay inspired, and keep shining your beautiful light. This is Shetell Story, signing off from the Story of Spirit podcast. Here's the legalese that's required by our lawyers. This podcast and the YouTube channel represents the opinions of Shetell Story and her guests to the show. The content should not be taken as medical, psychological, or financial advice. This series is informational and entertainment purposes only. Because each person is so unique, please consult your healthcare professional, your mental health dream team, your financial advisor, or anyone else that's an expert in the field in where you are thinking of making big choices in your life.